Hi, and welcome to a pre-record. So it's not the Monday live, it's the Monday recorded, as it were. I'm in Cornwall. I am in Cornwall, in Falmouth, hopefully enjoying myself, hopefully just got down there. And if you remember about a year ago, well, almost exactly a year ago, I went down with my family to Cornwall. We had an eventful time with as many diseases as you can imagine, chicken pox and eventually, I'm afraid, COVID as well. But I also remember trying to do the live from Cornwall. Do you remember that? Didn't work out so well. We had parrots on the wallpaper, I think, if I remember. The problem was that they didn't have a good enough internet. So it was very frustrating. I ended up recording it, I think, 3 times. But I thought it was a good idea. And we may well try it again, but we'll make sure that there is a good enough internet connection. Yes, I can see it's a bit of a gimmick, but I think it's quite nice to be able to broadcast maybe from Mallorca or something like that. So we'll see. So what's happening? Well, we're doing Declare a Play this month, making a plan in suit contracts. So relatively straightforward. And certainly today it will be a relatively straightforward topic. Okay, we will be, in fact, I won't have a beginner's slot at the end. I'll focus, I'll suggest to the beginners and novices that they can focus on this as well. And then we'll build up to a little bit more technical stuff perhaps towards the end of the month. We will see how we do. Yes, so recordings all week. So on Wednesday, I have a recording of the game I played last Monday. So I played on Into Bridge last Monday, had fun. So if you fancy watching that, please do on Wednesday. And of course, if you fancy playing Into Bridge again, it's all free at the moment. And that's again on the Monday evening. So that's for the members on the Monday evenings at 7:30. There's a game on Into Bridge, about 18 boards, quite good fun. I certainly enjoyed it myself, so we'll see. And on Friday, I am talking about protection towards the end, though. Now we're looking at a few examples. I'm looking at my examples on Friday, and hopefully then next week we will look at your examples. What are my examples? Well, they're the ones from the teams where it all went wrong. So I want to see why, because it's all well and good me preaching about bidding more and doing this and doing that, but if it always goes wrong, it's not really the right thing, shall we say. So I talk myself through a couple of hands there. And we've got our usual things today, haven't we? We've got our bidding quiz, we've got our suit combinations, we've got the little seminar, etc. A little chat about the holidays. Well, we are just coming up to launching various things. So we've got the luxury gourmet event in Cornwall. So that's high end, shall we say, for those of you who like it rich, as it were. So it should be fun, though. Looking forward to it. A very small group, though. It'll only be about 28 of you, hopefully. And we'll see how we get on there. And then we are going back to Blunsdon. Haven't been to Blunsdon since COVID. So John and Becky are going to run one for me on the 12th to 14th of May, which will be lovely. And then I'm back there in November. So do sign up for that if you fancy revisiting. That's in Swindon, in Wiltshire, or near Swindon, I should say. And you've got all of the spring and summer events on the screen there. And we are just about launching the autumn as well. So late summer and autumn is coming out, and winter. We're going to try. A number of people have been saying, Bernard, can you get your events out quicker? So we will be. We've got some denims, some old barns, the old favourites, as it were. We will also, though, be looking for new. And I know some of you are saying, oh yeah, you're saying I've got someone there. We've already come up with 2 hopeful ones. Hopefully the next time I see you live, I might even be able to tell you about one of them. We will see. So we are trying to come nearer to you. It might take a little bit of time. You know, you've got to negotiate with these hotels. I don't. I've got someone else doing it for me. I'm not the negotiator, definitely not. So we'll see. Okay, let me just have a look at that, what we do, which is the suit combination. So we'll start with that. before I look at a few other things. So suit combination, what do I mean? Well, essentially all I mean is let's have an auction and let's decide how to play one particular suit. So the suit here is, I mean, let's just put the auction up for you. I mean, the auction would probably go 1 no trump. I think you'd just bid 3 no trumps. I mean, you can bid Stamen, but with a 4-3-3-3 hand, and with quite rich in points, I think I would do it. And you get the Jack of Spades lead. Would you have opened 1 no trump with the South hand? Someone's probably asking. I think your Jack 10 holding in diamonds sort of just about allays the fear of the 4-3-3-3 shape, if that's okay. So Jack of Spades is led. You've got your top tricks there. You've got 7 top tricks. You've got to work out how to play diamonds, if that's okay. Work out how to play diamonds. Okay, so good luck with that. We will come back to that after the seminar. So what about cruises and overseas? Well, Tunisia we've got on our cards, and we've also got this wonderful cruise. Let me remind you of it. It's to the American waterways in Canada in the fall for 34 nights. Should be lovely. And you've got a great team there as well. Look at that, Leslie, Elaine, Robin and Hilary. So yeah, I think some of you are really going to enjoy that. So do have a look into that if you fancy that. Okay, so there's so much going on. And there's plenty going on our site. Why not come and join us? Sign up. Remember, you don't only have to sign up for a month. You can then just give in after that. I mean, most people are overwhelmed with the amount of stuff on it, and I understand that. But of course, you don't need to do it all. Some people just like watching me make a mess of things on a Wednesday evening. You certainly don't have to do it all. Okay, now what am I doing now? I'm going to the PowerPoint. Let's go there. So we are making a plan in suit contracts. And we're going to start at the very beginning, as they say. And all of my plans, I like to play with attitude. And that is attitude with a double U. Okay, and of course, those letters are going to stand for things. Hopefully, you know them by now. A is for aim. As I always say about aim, it's very easy if you're a beginner or you're playing the various forms of the game like teams and rubber bridge, where the aim is your contract, the number of tricks you need. However, as we know, when you play duplicate pairs, the aim's a little bit more tricky. You may well need as many tricks as you can make. So aim, how many tricks you need. Top tricks, really important this, just tricks that you can make off the top. So it's aces or kings with aces or queens with kings and aces. If you do not have an ace in between the two hands, you have no top tricks. We have been there, I certainly have. The next part, you've counted your top tricks, you now need to increase your tricks. Now, that can be by knocking out aces, it can be by roughing, it can be by using your length, and we'll look at that in a moment. Okay, but the key is you get your top tricks, you use your increasing tricks phase to get to your aim. So let's say you started with 7 top tricks, maybe your aim is 10, you need at least 3 tricks in your increasing tricks phase. Okay. Worry about the defense, and to be honest, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the main difference between no trumps and suit contracts. When you worry about the defense, you talk about how many losers you've got in suit contracts. In no trumps, you tend to be looking at stoppers. Can I stop all the suits? Can I stop them running a long suit? In suit contracts, you're not so worried about long suits because, of course, you hopefully can rough them with your trumps. And then the execution phase, you're making sure actually you can get rid of those losers you've counted. Also, unfortunately, you do also have to deal with the drawing of trumps, which is a bit of a pain. And I'm sure we'll come across that in the next few weeks. Okay, but we're going to focus on the losers here. However, first of all, let's remind ourselves of the increasing tricks phase. Okay, because of course there's a little bit to be added to the basics of this because it's a suit contract. So imagine you're in 4 hearts here. Those top tricks, just 6 to be precise, because there's only the ace, king, queen that will always make in hearts, because the suit could in theory break 4-0. So 3 in hearts, the ace of diamonds and the ace, king of clubs. Okay, so just 6 top tricks, but huge potential. And in fact, I've deliberately made it potential in every single suit. Okay, and I've got the 4 different methods of making extra tricks in one hand. What do you think of that? You have high cards in spades. You've got length in hearts, because in hearts, of course, if the suit breaks 3-1 or 2-2, you have 5 tricks. Okay, and you've got technique and finessing in diamonds. So in diamonds, you could finesse for an extra trick. And you've got the 4th one that comes up in suit contract, which of course is roughing. And as I'll keep going on and on and on about, roughing in the short trump hand gains tricks, roughing in the long trump hand does not. So here, roughing a club is good news. You're counting hopefully 5 trumps, assuming the trumps break, from the West hand, because West has 5 of them. If you rough a club, you have not decreased the length of that 5 card holding. You are using a trump from the short trump hand, so you are gaining a trick. Whereas if you manage to rough a diamond at some point, you would not be gaining a trick. You would be roughing from the 5 card holding, you would make it only 4 cards. It would be 4 plus 1, which is still 5, but it's not more than 5. Whereas roughing a club, you add 1 onto the 5. It's 5 plus 1 rough is 6. So roughing in the short trump hand, don't forget that. So let's focus on the worrying about the defence, and that is all about losers. Please accept that there are a number of expressions counting your losers. Of course, one of them talks about the losing trick count. That is not what we're talking about here. Here we are talking about counting our losers that are defined, okay, by looking at 2 hands. We almost always use the long trump hand as your master hand. Okay, and you'll see what I mean as I go through them now. So the hand with the long trumps tends to be the master hand. So let me show you one, for example, here, okay, where we count the losers in the hand. So 4 hearts is the contract. Your long trump hand is the hand on your left, the West hand. Okay, so let's go through each suit. I'm not going through the whole plan here. I'm just looking at the losers, if that's okay. So in spades, how many losers are there? Okay, well, you're looking at the West hand. You can always use the high cards from both hands. So in the West hand, you can use King, Queen, Jack. So there's just 1 loser, the ace. In the hearts, you've got the ace, king, queen, jack, 10 between you. So you've got no losers at all there. In diamonds, we're just looking at the diamonds in the West hand, but we're allowed to use that ace. So there's just 1 loser there. I hope you're happy with that. Okay, just 1 loser. The ace takes care of 1, but there is another loser there. And in clubs, again, we're only looking at the West hand. We're allowed to use high cards in the East hand, but nothing else. So there are 2 losers in the West hand. That's the crucial element here when you're counting losers. You cannot count just 1 loser because you're hopefully going to rough one. That hoping I'm going to rough one is all about the execution phase. Because the fact that you see you've got 2 club losers there makes you think I've got to get rid of one of them, which means hopefully it stops you drawing trumps. Because if you draw the trumps here, you would not be able to rough the 3rd round of clubs. Does that make sense? So let's say they led the king of clubs. Your job would be to try to rough the 3rd round in dummy. If you draw trumps first, they will make 2 club tricks there. Okay, and you would end up going down. So the losers, counting the losers, will hopefully pinpoint where your work needs to be done in the contract. Okay. So let's look at an actual hand that would make a plan, on the full plan. So again, we're in 4 hearts. This time, I deliberately put it this way. I wanted to show you that sometimes dummy can be the long trump hand. So I generally use the long trump hand as the one where I count the losers in, if that makes sense. So if you look at this hand here, it's a very, very straightforward hand. I should say that, just to make that clear. I'm not putting this up to test you or anything. It's just to make sure that we're happy going through the plan. This is probably a hand where it's gone 1 no trump transfer, and that's why 4 hearts is played by West. Okay. Imagine you get the king of diamonds lead. I probably haven't given you a lead here because I just want to focus on the plan, but the king of diamonds lead is as good a lead as any. Okay, so 8 top tricks. Why do I say that? Well, I tend to be practical. Clearly, the hearts cannot break worse than 4-0, so I would count 5 heart winners there. Does that make sense? The hearts cannot be worse than 4-0 because there's only 4 of them left. So I'm counting 5 winners because they automatically make. So 5 hearts, the ace of diamonds, the ace king of clubs. Okay, and your increasing tricks phase, queen jack of spades there. Okay, sorry, king queen jack of spades. So you knock out the ace, you're going to make 2 tricks. Okay, the next thing is the worrying, and this is where you make sure that you will be able to get, if you've got too many losers, you can get rid of one. So let's put the worry up. 1 loser in spades, of course. None in hearts. We're looking at the east hand as it happens. Both hands have the same length in the 2 suits. 2 diamonds there and 1 club. Remember, you're looking at the ace king of clubs. You're just looking at the length there. So there's 4 losers. We need to get rid of 1. Now, on a king of diamonds lead, you wouldn't be able to get rid of any diamonds because you draw trumps, knock out the ace of spades, and they would have knocked out your ace of diamonds. So they will make 2 diamond tricks. However, you'll have no troubles, surely, getting rid of your club on the king of spades. You play your queen, you play your jack. Eventually, they'll take their ace. You'll have the king as a winner, and you will be able to discard a club on that. So it's an important part of your execution phase to make sure that you can get rid of those losers. Okay, so the execution is how do you get rid of them? Discarding a club on your winning spades. Now, I'm hoping that by looking at a contract this way, it'll often identify the problems you've got. So this hand here, that's going to come up here. Okay, so here, of course, if trumps aren't needed for your extra tricks or entries, you must draw tricks straight away. So we would draw trumps straight away here. Okay, I hope you're happy with that. Okay, so you'd win the ace of diamonds, draw your trumps, and then play the queen of spades and jack of spades and just keep playing them until they take the ace. Okay. So on this hand, some of you will have seen this kind of hand many a time and may well get it right. But I'm thinking that for most of us to get it right, if we make our way slowly through the plan, we should be able to identify the problem and then, I hope, identify the best way of playing the contract. So we're in 4 hearts again, and there looks to be, it's the king of spades lead, and there looks to be a straightforward 9 tricks there. Okay. Ace of spades, 5 heart tricks, ace of diamonds, ace king of clubs. Now, a lot of declarers just fall straight into the trap and think, oh, I love singletons, I want to rough. Remember, you never gain, or very, very rarely gain, by roughing in the long trump hand. You've got to have a plan if you are going to gain by it, either by establishing tricks or by doing a huge amount of roughing. So here, we know that roughing spades is not going to gain us tricks. We've counted 5 heart tricks already. Diamonds have no potential at all. So it looks like our extra trick is going to have to come from clubs. Okay, because I can't see it coming from anywhere else. So that's the first part of the plan. Maybe we hope the clubs break 3-3 and hope that we can make the 13th. But so often you will find if you go through the worrying part of the plan, that will help you identify how to play the hand. So here we go through the worry. Any losers in spades? No, because your singleton is opposite the ace. Remember, we're looking at the left hand again because it's got the long trumps. No losers in hearts. There are 2 in diamonds and there are 2 in clubs. Remember, you are looking at the length in the hand with the long trump. So we always use that as the master hand. So we've identified our 4 losers. Our next job is to work out a way of getting rid of those losers. Okay. So in diamonds, there's nothing you can do about it. You've got 3 cards in each hand, and clearly there's nothing to discard them on. There's no length in dummy. If you had the ace king of spades, clearly you could win the ace and then play the king and discard. Well, you haven't, and there's clearly not the high cards there. So that's no good. What about in clubs? Well, we're going to focus on the fourth round of clubs. Because clearly, if nobody else has a club, so if the clubs break 3-3, you win the fourth round. But what if the clubs break 4-2? And if you're focusing on that fourth round, you're going to say to yourself, well, I've got no clubs in dummy. So why can I not ruff the fourth club? And the answer is, you can. However, there's two things. You've got to still have a trump there. And not only that, you've still got to have the ace of trumps, because otherwise someone will overruff you. Because remember, if the clubs break 4-2, one of them's out. So what I'm thinking is that if I could ruff the fourth round with the ace of hearts, I am going to make my contract, because I'm going to get rid of one of the losers, and at the same time I'm going to be ruffing in the short trump hand. Okay, so if the clubs break 3-3, there's no problem. And in fact, as soon as they break 3-3, you just go off and draw trumps because you're happy. But if they break 4-2, you're going to need to ruff. Once you've identified that, you realise that you cannot draw trumps. Now, here you'll probably play one round of trumps. Make sure it's not the ace though, because you need the ace to ruff the last round of clubs. But I think playing one round of trumps makes sense, because if trumps perhaps break 5-0 or something like that, you might feel the need to make another plan, perhaps. Okay, but you'd play the king of hearts. And I'm not going to play one through the hand. In a way, it's relatively straightforward once you've identified it. You'd win the ace of spades. You'd play the king of hearts. They all follow. You play the ace and the king of clubs. And then you play a third round of clubs. Now, if one of them has a singleton or void in clubs, of course they will ruff your ace of clubs, and that's disappointing. However, you're playing for a 4-2 break or a 3-3 break, which is a huge proportion of the time. And clearly, if one of them had a singleton club, you're never going to end up making an extra trick anyway, so you are going to go down. Okay, so you play the ace king of clubs and a third round of clubs. What can the defence do? Well, one of them could ruff that, but there's no point in them ruffing it, because their partner, has the queen jack of clubs, so that would be a waste. So there's nothing they can do. They win the trick. What do they play a trump back, but we can win that. We can ruff the fourth round of clubs with the ace. Cross back to hand and then just draw trumps. Okay, as soon as we've done the ruff of the fourth round of clubs, we're happy. But it's got to be rough with the ace of hearts. So, in a way, it's a simple plan. I don't call that a simple hand. I think a lot of declarers will go wrong there. A lot of declarers will just look at, there's no way I can ruff in dummy. I'm so flat, I'll just draw trumps and see how we get on. And they'll just hope the clubs break 3-3. And if they do, they make their extra trick. If they don't, of course, they lose the 4 tricks that we identified. And that's the key. We identified that there was 2 potential losers in diamonds and 2 potential losers in clubs. And what we have done with our plan is we've identified a possible way of getting rid of the 4th round of clubs. As I said before, if you play ace king of clubs in a 3rd round and both players follow, well then of course the suit has broken. You don't need to ruff anymore, so you can just draw trumps and you'll make that trick. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, the focus on that last hand was going slowly through the plan, and hopefully by looking at your losers, so worrying about your losers, you are able to identify where the main problem lies. Okay, not an easy hand, but at the same time, I'm not sure it's difficult either, if that makes sense. It's in many ways, it's having seen it before, but I think if you can focus on worrying about your losers there, you might get there. Okay, a reminder of what the special is. Well, not a reminder, I'm not showing you the special for this week. Remember, this is not for members. Members have all of this available to them, but as a non-member, you can get the sacrificing seminar at half price, and that comes with your linen PBN files and with the set hands, etc. So do enjoy that if you fancy that as a non-member. So here I am. What are we going to do now? Well, we haven't got too much more to do. We've got the hand evaluation, of course, so we'll look at that. And then we will be looking at, well, I'll be giving you the bidding quiz. Remember, there's not a beginner section today because, of course, I would feel that the novice and beginners can gain a lot from the main seminar. Oh, that's the idea. So let me put up that hand evaluation again, and let's have a look. So what we said was the auction had gone 1 no trump, 3 no trumps. I think that's reasonable. You've got to make a plan for the diamond suit here. And we've seen this one before, haven't we? Yes, of course we have. This is the situation where you only have 3 high cards, so your ambition is to lead up to your high cards. Lead low up to high, and ideally, if you've got enough entries, you try to lead low from the north hand up to the south hand, because the south hand has 2 high cards. So it looks normal to lead the jack of diamonds, but as we've seen before, if you lead the jack, you allow your opponents to kill it, and it can easily go jack, queen, king and ace. Okay, you've only got 1 high card left. So you shouldn't have been leading a high with 3 high cards. You lead a small diamond. The problem is if you lead small to the king, you can only do it once. So let's say the king wins. Well, on the next round you lead back. Well, the 10 might lose to the queen and the jack might lose to the ace. Okay. Remember, if the suit breaks 3-3, you're always making an extra trick. You know, you're going to make 1 diamond because you've got 3 high cards there, king, jack, 10. So if one, the ace and queen can kill 2 of them, but you'll have 1 left. Okay, and then if the suit breaks 3-3, you've got an extra 1 from length. So that would be your 9 tricks, your 7 top tricks plus 2 in diamonds. I think by leading towards the 10 and then leading towards the jack, you give yourself an extra chance. There's a chance that East plays his high card without taking one of yours, particularly, of course, if East has a doubleton. So if East has a doubleton queen or a doubleton ace. If he has a doubleton queen, he'll often go up with the queen. Okay, and suddenly, straight away, you now know you've got 2 tricks, because the queen will take nothing. Now, of course, to carry out this plan, I actually want to be over in dummy, so I'm going to take the first trick, and that's why it's so important to make the plan at trick 1. I now lead a diamond, and I put the 10 on. That loses. That's not ideal. You'd have preferred it to bring the ace out. What do? They've switched to hearts. Okay. So we win. We need to cross to dummy. And we lead another diamond. Okay, and that has brought the ace out. And that, of course, is what we were hoping would happen. The ace has taken nothing. We have 2 winners. We've got plenty of entries to dummy. Okay, so we win the king of clubs there. Cash the king of diamonds. And as you can see, we're in a nice and healthy situation because our jack of diamonds is our winner. Okay, and you've still got 2 winners. I'll open up the hands there so you can see them. There's no problem for them keeping the right cards, so you will just claim your 9 tricks, your queen of spades and your king of hearts there. And there you can see the diamond layout. As I say, it's one that I'm sure you have seen with me before. I talked about it in the seminar, looking after your high cards, making the most of your high cards. When you've only got 3 high cards, generally you lead low. So we'd lead the 5 towards the jack 10 and then the 6 towards the jack 10. If you lead a diamond to the king, that would lose to the ace, and then clearly your jack would lose to the queen, and you'd lose the last round because look, they break 4-2. Okay. Even if the king wins on the first round, you would gain if there was a queen doubleton, because you'd lead up to the king and then the queen would have to be played on the next round. But you would lose if there was ace queen to fall there, or, as you can see here, the ace. Okay, so the leading up to the 2 honours, gains in the long term. Bear in mind you do have to have quite a lot of entries for that, because I set the hand once and found that I didn't have enough entries over there, so I set it again. Okay, so you do need quite a lot of entries because you end up blocking the suit. So, you know, you have to, in the execution phase, you have to work out whether you feel you can do it. It's a small gain, you see. It's only a small gain, but it's, you know, something like a 5% gain. So it is worth doing, but you do have to go through the execution phase. One of the hardest phases of Declare a Play, I have to say. You know, trying to play the hand through in your mind. Okay, so just summarising, we are recording this week, so I'm down in Cornwall. I'll be back on Friday afternoon, but the Wednesday evening is a recording of the pairs game that I played last Monday on Into Bridge. We're playing Into Bridge again this Monday. I'm not there. I'm in Cornwall, but you're welcome to play in that. Remember, it's free of charge for members there. Into Bridge game, and the week after, I hope to be playing again because I'm going away again. I'm going off to the North Cape, hopefully to see the Northern Lights in Norway. So we'll see. And don't forget to check out the holiday website and see how you get on there. Here's the bidding quiz to finish us off, of course. 1 heart by North, your left-hand opponent. 1 no trump from your partner, 2 hearts. 1 heart from your left-hand opponents, 1 no trump from your partner, 2 hearts, and it's your bid. Perhaps a little bit easier than some of the ones we've been looking at, but we're introducing kind of a new topic. It's one of the ways you've probably noticed that I work. I have a theme running for a period of time. So here's another theme: 1 heart, 1 no trump, 2 hearts, and it's your bid. Love all. See how you get on with that one. Remember, you can see the answer on the website, whether you're a member or not. So please do look at that, and don't forget to consider joining us. There's nothing wrong with that either. Hope you've enjoyed that. Sorry I couldn't be with you this week, and I will hopefully see you again soon. So thanks very much.